poppin'? So, Mike Malone was just hired as the new head coach of the University of North Carolina men's basketball program. What are your thoughts? Before you answer that, here are mine. I think Mike Malone is a phenomenal coach. Absolutely phenomenal. Won an NBA championship in 2023. He coached a two-time NBA MVP. He was responsible for leading one of the best offensive net ratings in the NBA when he was a head coach, and certainly one of the best in NBA history. He put together or helped to lead a roster constructed evenly of young and veteran talent, and found a way to get everybody to buy in and galvanize people to step into their roles and to take onus in their roles, which is the hardest part about coaching, believe it or not. It's not the X's and O's. It's not winning games. It's galvanizing grown men to buy into ideas, concepts, and strategies that you are enforcing. It's the hardest part. He was capable of doing that. And then at some point in his tenure, the Nuggets and the general manager and players felt like he started to lose the locker room because of how challenging he could be, how intense he could be as a coach, his approach to holding players accountable, and that guys started to push back against it. It felt like he was too demonstrative and too hard on guys and too assertive. Mind you, these are grown men who are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to play a game that they love. And this was their report, that he was too assertive, too challenging, too demonstrative. He's now getting ready to step into an environment with 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old young men, many of which are about to get paid millions of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, to play a game as an amateur. And we think that the guy who got fired for being too demonstrative and too assertive towards grown men is going to be able to establish a nurturing and welcoming environment for a bunch of fucking teenage boys and young men. That was our line of thinking. Because at the end of the day, the question was never whether or not Mike Malone was a good enough coach to coach strategy and X's and O's. That was never an issue because he won an NBA championship. The issue was he was too hard on grown men. And now he's getting ready to coach a bunch of young men. Well, what the fuck do you think their report and their pushback and their reservation is going to be? So I'm always fascinated by the lack of intentionality and the lack of strategic alignment in some of the hiring processes from both universities and professional teams. Because this isn't hard. It's not hard. And again, this has less to do with Mike Malone and more to do with the University of North Carolina and their thought process around hiring. If you all didn't already have candidates in the queue that you were going to vet and that you thought would be a great fit, you shouldn't have fired Hubert Davis. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. Especially when you had the transfer portal starting 2-3 weeks post you letting go your head coach. Because here's the other thing, and casual fans may or might notice, but when you fire a head coach, more often than not, that means the rest of the coaching staff is gone too. Very rarely is a head coach fired, but then they keep all the other ancillary staff. No, that it doesn't happen that way. So now, not only are you having to bring in Mike Malone, who's stepping into an entirely new environment, he also has to bring in new staff and in real time figure out what the collective's going to be, because now you got to use that to get players. Figure out who's in the portal, because I don't know how much attention he's been paying at the collegiate level. He's a fucking NBA coach. Why would he be paying attention to the portal, right? I don't know how prepared or unprepared he's going to be to hit their high school recruitment trail. And I don't know what players are going to even retain their commitment to North Carolina, because a lot of those guys who did already committed to Hubert Davis and his coaching staff, not to Mike Malone's. So I'll say all this to say I thought it was an incredibly interesting hire. And as overqualified as I think Mike Malone may be as a coach for this job, I think he's unaligned for this role. I don't think that this was the right person to bring in for the University of North Carolina and to take over this program at a time that's incredibly pivotal. I just don't know if this is the right hire. Would love to know you all's thoughts though.